Actually, here I would like to differ with many people. I think all of us should follow the address that's in our IC. This will prevent phantom voters. So it is, if people don't change their IC, then they have to go back and vote wherever they came from. I think in fact even now EC should not allow people to register if the IC address is not the same as the address. Okay, that's a law, then that's not then that's a non-issue. Number 4, privacy. No, number 4 is privacy. Now, if it's privacy, yes, a small number of people will be involved. And I think when it comes to civic duty and all that, we have to weigh the consequences of privacy and civic duty, and this can be put in. And if you want the addresses not to be shown, the addresses do not appear in public display. It can only appear to the political parties or something like that. Now, I think this can be overcome. All right. Now, so I think I've taken care of all your objections. Now, I have one more point, this redelineation. What surprises me is when I was young, I noticed that constituencies are always follow the Mukim boundary. You know, you divide according to the Mukim. You know, the Daira, Mukim and all that. Now, I find that constituencies, the same constituency can, can go over a few districts, more than one district. Why are we drawing line like that? Why don't we follow the natural boundary provided by Mukims? We have a 100-year-old institution of district, sub-district, Mukim and all that. So if you want to redelineate, you just reduce the size or change it, but follow the boundary. Once you start tampering with this, it can lead to accusation, rightly or wrongly, that election commission is actually favoring the ruling party. I'm not saying you're doing it, but people may assume that you're doing it. I think this is important. So if you go back to the system where we vote, your voters are in certain Mukim, and if that Mukim has too many people, then you can separate the constituency or something like that. I think it can be arranged, right? And finally, you are worried that 4 million voters coming in may overthrow the PM government. Let me reassure you.
No, I'm not worried.
No. Let me reassure you. Given that these 4 million were the apathetic voters, actually, they will probably BN supporters. So actually, their vote will help the BN government.
Can I just also add on the question of forcing? You can't force whether it is by registration or whether automatic registration. Right. It is still a voter's choice. But ultimately, on the day, if it's raining, they may not vote. If it is for some other reason, they may not vote. So whether it's automatic or actual registration, I don't think it's a problem. And the other thing about the law, the Constitution, of course, lawyers can find ways out. Okay, they can find deeming provisions. You can deem an automatic registration application, that kind of thing. So the legal aspect is something that can be easily resolved. I will allow one more comment on this issue, then I want to move on to postal voting. Yes.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that the EC always still choose a harder.
No, can you comment? Sorry.
Well, I think from the discussion we have done through all this discussion before, and I always find it amazing that all EC choose the hard way rather than easy way, whether it's the ink, whether it's the registration. But still, today, before we go into biometric, I really want to know that if our technology is so janky, why can't we automatically link the national registrar with the voters list? That will first cut down a lot of phantom voters because the people who have died will just out of that, and then automatically we know who are the available voters and start to spread them around the country and get ready for elections. So I'm actually not interested to discuss about the pro and cons of it. I just want to know whether the EC actually have that in mind before we talk about biometric or whatever Changi technology. Then with that also I also think that we are going around the circle many times. We have raised the same issues, but if there's no will to implement it, all these dialogues become meaningless because we are quite frustrated with every time we discuss this. the same thing come about, and we do not see any improvement of the transparency of that. Last point is just that if we have a compulsory voting system, then automatic registration violates human rights because you have to find someone who refuses to go. We don't have a compulsory voting system. Everyone's name is in the list. Automatic registration just means that you registered on the spot. I mean, it's no different from that. Thank you.
Now it's 9:30, so I am going to move on to the next. I would like, one second, I know you have 3 questions, I'm going to allow 1 question first.